audio disabled. Oh yeah, here we go. Disabled. Sweet. Okay, that should stop the audio echo. Sorry about that. Cool. So these are the rogaine points, and this is going to be pretty tough. And most people are approaching this at night time. So I'm really interested to see how they handle that. Let's wind the clock back a little bit and see what they got up to earlier in the day. Where we left off at 8 o'clock this morning, we had Avea out the front here. Nope, that's iSpot. Avea here, clearly leading the second and third place of iSport and Tiki Tour. So these three very strong teams, as we expected, to be taking the lead, and we have a number of strong teams making up of the top 10 also. And we left off with everyone on this long mountain bike. We will jump across to the topo map and just remind ourselves what this mountain bike looks like on the maps that they're going to be using. This is 100 and where is it? Have I got it up? No, I didn't. Sorry, I've lost the... Oh yeah, you made one, Joe. Oh, you got one. Legend. Okay. We have it. So this is what we're using. We'll get back to it after we look at the... God, I'm terrible with my tabs today. What a mess. No, we wanted to look at this guy. Yeah, so it's quite a flat ride, I think, in the standards of GODZone rides. I think this is quite a flat one. I don't know the conditions of this trail, but it is a mountain bike trail, so it's not going to be rooty single trail with hiker bike style. I think it's going to be fairly smooth, but maybe someone who's been there could comment. Cool. So let's see. So teams must collect 7 out of 9 on the rogaine. Okay, cool. So this is the long ride, and yeah, I don't know. Looks like a big ride. I guess I'm mainly frothy about the navigation stuff. The ride seems long and hard, but I don't think anything that interesting will happen on that, to be honest. But I mean, other than them just getting tired, which is what we're all really here to see, is for people to get very tired, and then for bad things to happen when people get very tired. And no, I'm actually being serious, and to be honest, I'm pretty sure that's why most people just love this stuff, right? People just get wrecked when you push so hard, and it's incredibly tough from the athlete's perspective, and I think that's why we love hard sports, right? That's why the most hard sports the most entertaining. So let's get on to this navigation section. So it's marked as a trek, but it's pretty wild. There are a lot of hunting and trapping tracks in this forest in general. I can't say that there's hunting and trapping tracks on these particular ridges, but if there's nothing and it's just completely wild, then this is going to destroy some people. It's going to be soul destroying if it's just bush bashing for that length of time. So yeah, this is the map. Someone's nicely taken a photo. So this is the lake here, and that is marked as checkpoint 16. And then there's a checkpoint 17 that marks the end of the navigation. So you've got checkpoint 16 and checkpoint 17. That is an insert basically here, 16 to 17. So nicely done, whoever delivered this map. This is great. So they've chosen distinctive stream, junction, hilltop, this hill on the spur. That's going to be interesting. People could definitely screw that up and get themselves onto another one of these spurs either side of the spur they're actually after. So I really like the look of E. F, hilltop, G, stream junction, H, stream junction, I, hilltop again. What do you think, guys? What would you miss out? You've got to get 7 of 9. I might miss C. It seems pretty high and out of the way, but then like you don't want to get, do you want to get B and then go all the way down and then get C? Or maybe you want to miss B and just go ridgeline the whole way along to get D. To be honest, maybe that's smarter. Flag B. So you've got to get A, obviously. A straight up the spur. Hopefully there's some kind of runnable line on the ridgeline. C, D. You've got to go through the valley, so you might as well get E anyway. Unless you want to go straight down early and then up. I guess that's possible, but you could stay high, take on a bit of extra climb, and then down and up again. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. It's not dumb for sure. People are going to go different ways. That'll be interesting. Nah, hey Dougal. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure actually. I've just heard from other people who have been doing training in the area, and it's not totally hectic forest. You can make your way through it. So that's kind of good, and I assume that's why they've chosen it. And as I said, there's a lot of hunting and trapping that happens in this area, and so you will leave these very faint trails in the forest from where the hunters and trappers go. So yeah, but it's pretty loose, and at nighttime it's really hard. It'd be really interesting to see what happens to a lot of these teams at nighttime, and I think it'd be quite wise for a number of them just to hunker down. You know, if you're getting tired and frustrated of just bush bashing, the chances of you making a navigational error are going up, up, up. I think it's really smart for people to just take some rest while you're least efficient, and then once it's daylight again, get going. So, and you can see, because these maps are so vague, and the scale, the 1 in 50,000, stuff here that seems kind of obvious is very hard at nighttime. When you find these little streams that are on the map, it's pretty much impossible to relocate. So yeah, the approach of just hunkering down and resting is probably a good use of time, but also getting a very reliable route through these controls is also a really good idea. So I think why D to E is really hard is because you've got to come down off this slope, and you're hitting a stream, and it could be, you know, if you're too far off, you could hit the stream perfectly, or maybe there's bound to be a bit of a stream up this guy here, and you can see the walls of that valley. It's pretty high. We've got 4 contours going up there. You've also got 4 contours going up this side, so you could easily be facing this valley here, thinking it's this valley here, and then therefore you end up on the spur. So and if you've just come off this hilltop, getting down there perfectly, there's pretty high risk. So something like E is quite problematic because there's a chance of error, whereas F has a much lower chance of error, in my opinion, because coming down from D, you get caught by the 2 streams, so you inevitably end up on this one big stream. You come down to this, which I think should be reasonably obvious because there's this kind of flatter area behind it, and then the spur really ramps up 1, 2, 3 contours just there, and all you're really going for is the high point. Like, you'll hit this big high point before it, and it doesn't really matter. You're just going for the next high point, and yeah, okay, maybe you miss it and end up on the ridgeline. Yeah, that's true. I think it's recoverable though. Whereas you're not sure if you end up on this hill, that hill, or this spur. It's really hard to recover from that because you're not sure which direction to go. Whereas here, I think you're just going up and just kind of winging it up to the highest point. Whereas E is not the highest point. You can't keep following one simple rule and still get to E. So yeah, at daytime I'd be pretty happy to get E, but it's interesting at nighttime. Again, H is more reliable. You can just follow the stream down and then stream up. and then you can do a similar thing for G. And I think I is very reliable once again. You've got to take on the climb to get there, but at nighttime, you'd be more than happy just staying on the ridgeline and you'll eventually hit it. Whereas you can't guarantee that with E, that you'll actually be on the mark at nighttime. What do you think? Yeah, they would have planned it. Oh, I think they would have probably had a good go planning it before they started, right? Like they get this map at the start. You definitely want to plan when you're fresh. Planning on the go is always a bad idea. So yeah, that's my pick, is actually miss B and E, which is pretty hard to call to make because it looks so nice to get E on the way through and miss out H, which is out of the way. I just think it's that reliability. You either want to stay on a ridgeline or stay on a stream, but you don't want to be crossing these linear features perpendicular. I think that's where you get really screwed up. Like it seems workable until you realize the scale and the accuracy of these maps. I think from an RETS perspective, you're like, oh yeah, that'll be all good. I could suss that out. But when you can't see shit and it's dense forest and it's nighttime, I mean, even when it's daytime, these maps are pretty loose, and your sense of what is a 3 contour slope and what is a 4 contour slope is, I mean, you can't even see what a 2 contour slope is simply because you can't see through the trees. So it's pretty hard to fix yourself. So let's see how they are going. This is where we were up to yesterday. Doesn't seem to be too many. No one's really stopping, right? Everyone's just... And there was a 6-hour mandatory stop at TA2, which I didn't mention. So that's why everyone was just huddling there, because you have to stop. They forced everyone to stop. So it'd be interesting to see who's sleeping and who's not. Everyone seems to just be moving along. Maybe who have we got here? 12. Moa. Oh, yep. Are these guys sleeping there? 12. So just watching 12. Maybe it's just a GPS that stopped for a bit. Be interesting to see if 12 is still on the move or whether they're having a rest. Okay. So I think we'll time it through from Avea getting to TA3. Yeah, so they've got, you can see the size of the lead now, I think quite clearly as people are getting closer and closer together. Yeah, so that was interesting. I'm not sure if you noticed the difference in route choices to get to this little lake. We could see some people going down the river. So let's check that out a little more closely. Oh, that's the weather as well. I think this is worth noting. Some people are going to get, I think it's a little bit wet. So that's going to be tricky. Be interesting to see how they handle that. So let's jump to this one. Ah, come on. Well, why do we even need this one on the side then, if we've got this one on the right? Oh, the trackers, that's why. So you can see 06 and 34 have gone down the stream by the looks of it. So who have we got here? Come on, 34. Nope. Nope. 34. Come on. Okay, it's really doesn't like that. Okay, right. So yeah, these guys were still on the move. I don't think they stopped for us. Oh no, sorry, that was 12. Yeah, so yeah, I expect Tane's navigating them. Nice. So Tane's taking them down the stream by the looks of it. I mean, there wasn't great resolution. 34 is at the transition, and now it's down there. So it'd be interesting to know whether they went stream the whole way down, or whether, I suspect they probably went on the forward drive track and then down to the stream. But the GPS resolution doesn't really let us know that. And the advantage of doing that is that I assume the stream is going to be faster moving than this bush if there's not good trails, and you would really want to wait until you are, I think, in this particular area before making that decision. You know, some of these trails just continue off a lot further into the bush than what is actually marked on the map with a trail. You can see the black line under the red only goes to here. So the other guys here, Highland Events and iSport and Tikitua. So there's 4 of them now, pretty close together, and Mochueka. So yeah, like these guys are going well. Ataraxia, MacPack, I expect them to be up there as well. I mean, I thought they might be a little bit actually closer to the front at this stage and out for the view. I mean, yeah, so these guys are really separating further out. Nutrient Rescue sitting further back, strong team as well. Remember 44 was the one who didn't finish the pack raft. Tavendale and Partners, Belinda and James McCone, Duncan Rutherford and Ben Crosley. I mean, good seasoned adventure racers. So just watching these front guys here for a little bit. They're all really bunched together, so it looks like there's a solid race for second place at the moment. That'll be the most exciting thing to watch. And yeah, Avea just too good, as you would expect, but we'll see how things unfold. Anything can happen. Okay. So this is really the most interesting part of the race, I think, for me, is how they handle this navigation. So it's going to be hard to tell with this 30-minute resolution. Let's try to be really careful. So I think what it looks like is Avea have gone it's very hard to tell. I think Avea have missed, they've done what I said and missed B. But who knows, the resolution on this thing is not great. I think Avea went A, C, D, E, F. I think iSport have done the same. I think iSport have, so the controls up on this high point here. I think iSport have stayed low in the stream and have just come straight up and missed B. Yeah. That's a really good question, Dougal, and it gets way harder if you're doing Adventure Racing World Champs and they're going to throw you in the middle of some, like, just the most ridiculous places. Where have they been? I did a good podcast with Stu Lynch, who's in Avea at the moment, and he talks a lot about the adventure race, the World Championships he did in Brazil, which is just the most ridiculous place. You should listen to that. And there's no way to prepare for that kind of stuff. Just absolutely no way. You know, you're not really... the odds are not with you if you're trying to predict what the terrain is. You just have to be prepared for everything and know that you will have the right tools in the toolkit to bring out when certain challenges arise. So you don't really want to be preparing so specifically. Like, specialization is not the name of the game. You need to be prepared for anything because of that very fact that you cannot predict exactly what it's going to be like. So preparing as opposed to predicting. I'm sure a lot of the North Island guys have been romping around this area. If they know they've been doing GODZone, I'm sure they would have been romping in the Kawekas and the Te Uruweras just whenever they got a chance. I mean, not just doing the Whakarerewa mountain bike loops, like actually getting out for some exploration. I know some of the guys have as well. And they know that there's little trails on the ridge lines from the trappers and hunters, and they know how tough it is to go up and down some of these streams, through the streams and up and down the ridges. So yeah, I'm sure the local guys know. I wouldn't be surprised if the South Islanders were a little less prepared. I think maybe more used to the South Island beech forest, and this is a bit more rugged and I think a little bit more scary, to be honest. Like, it can get very dense in some of these forests, whereas I think the South Island beech forest doesn't, like, in the worst cases, doesn't get as impassable as some of this stuff. But that's my take on it. No, I really have not been here. So we've got Tikitua are going for B. Was B? Yeah. Tikitua are going for B. It'd be interesting to see how many other people. My guess from this is that Avea and Iceboard are going with my choice, so I must be right. I must be right. So it'd be interesting to see if Avea also do what I would have done, which was actually miss E. Yeah, it's very tempting to take the shortest path, which would be to probably get B and C and D and then just scoot through here, as opposed to zigzagging through this stuff. That's the nicest route through, but I just do not like the look of going D to E and E to G. I think the stakes are quite high at night time. Getting up and over these can be perpendicular to the parallel features. Like, if you come down to the stream in the wrong place, it's dead straight. You're not going to have any idea whether you're too far northwest or too far southeast. Like, it's an absolute gamble. Not an absolute gamble, but it's just like the risk reward, I think, tips against you. Whereas going to F, I think the odds are quite good that you get funneled up onto this spur, and then you just have to stay heading towards the highest point. Also with H, there's nice handrails. To borrow the orienteering term, you can treat these streams as handrails and get there quite reliably. And I just go back out on the stream and just keep it real safe. So let's see what they do. And yeah, still getting used to the numbers. So Sneaky Weasel Gang 34, Motueka 6. It looks like they've done a similar. Whoa. So 6, I've forgotten already. Motueka 6, Sneaky Weasel Gang 34 have come down before going around the hill. So they didn't want to get up over this hill here. Pukihino. They said nope, and they've come down the spur. Looks like Motueka have come down the stream and will stay low. Line it low to checkpoint 16, and Tikitua went up. Oh, that's interesting. So there, I don't know, maybe the GPS is bouncing around a little bit. Looks like they almost went too far north there. You can see the GPS. If that's actually what's happened, that's, well, maybe the GPS is just bouncing around a lot. Follow 13. They're up to. Not sure what's going on there. But they seem to be on track now, heading for Control B. Cool, so I will get back. Let's have a quick look ahead, so I know where I'm going to be when I get back here tomorrow morning. Back on the bike. We have a moderate bike. Some hours of quite flat riding. And my bet is that there will be some serious sleeping going on with these teams overnight. I think there'll be a lot of sleeping at TA3, and maybe some people will have a crack to checkpoint 16 and sleep, especially if the weather's packing in. I think that's the best bang for your buck, to get that rest in while the going is slow, and then take the bike to TA5 before the beast trek. Total beast trek. I mean, this is going to be a day and a half trekking. Absolutely mental. Sorry, it's Packraft first, is it? That's not what this guy's showing. It's both. Okay. Let's have a quick read of that. Fidanaki, this is the Rogaine leg. Then they've got a nice ride, Kaingaroa through the forest. Chiaranga Mohaka is this really interesting leg. Yeah, and then they've got the big walk. Kaweka Kaimanawa. The Kawekas and the Kaimanawa ranges in the same trek. You know it's going to be long. 88 kilometers. Holy moly. Yeah, so this pack raft, here we go. I'll just bring up the pack raft so we can think a little bit ahead. No. Yep. It really is the beauty of pack rafting as a sport. I think they really nailed it on that leg selection. Starting, I mean, that's the way to do it, is you get up and over the mountain in the early part and just do a huge downstream section that you would never otherwise get access to. I mean, how are you going to otherwise get dropped off right up here? The very top catchment in the Kaimanawa forest. It's outrageous. That's exactly what pack rafting should be. Up and over, and then the huge stream down. Sweet. So this is the transition where they go. So yeah, it's quite nice that they've actually got just a bit of trekking at the start of that long pack raft, and then it's all in the water. So their feet are going to be hopefully in reasonably good condition before the start of this beast. Sweet. Alright, that's heaps long enough. Looking forward to seeing what they're up to in the morning. And we can do a full diagnosis of the rogaine. Sweet guys, see you later.